This match review comes to us from Nikolai, who has 500 hours in Dead by Daylight. So probably in a, you know, compared to a lot of like streamers and stuff, that's not a lot of hours, but it is enough that like you are an average player in Dead by Daylight. Typically like 200 to 500 hours I consider as like just like an average player. Like you watch streams, probably you know how to do a lot of the stuff, but you probably don't have like that super firm that like efficiency that like a 1K hour plus gamer does. So it's a fine place and hours to be with. You are playing Skull Merchant, which is a character that has a very bad reputation. But it's somebody that I played a lot when she first came out, kind of just to spite the whole 3-gen strat, to not do it and show that she could still have some efficiency. So let's see what your build and your add-ons are first off, so I can kind of give you a lowdown here. You get Yamoka Residence, which is, I don't think it's a particularly very strong killer map because it's a big long football field, but there's not a whole lot in the way of super strong structures really going on with this map, so it's kind of, you know, kind of mostly average. Okay, your add-on choice seems fine. Obviously, if you were trying to like super sweat, I'd pick something like expired batteries to go with this, which kind of gives you lethal for free. Your build, Noed's always, Noed, I think, especially for like learning and getting better at Dead by Daylight, is a bad perk because it teaches you bad habits, but still a very, very good perk. Stabiffle, very, very good on her. Pairs very well with her teachable game of foot, which is what I use on her. So especially with a character like her who kind of struggles and chases a lot, Stabiffle's good. Okay, so I feel like machine learning is kind of just like a bad perk, I think. Like, since that's machine learning, I feel like that's just like a bad perk. Because like, I think machine learning in general is just kind of a stupid perk because Tinkerer does its job better because it actually prevents the gen from getting done. Machine learning gives you a buff of undetectable and haste, like, ooh, because you let a gen go. Your whole job as killer is to be defending gens. But machine learning is one of those perks that goes off when you lose a gen. And it's not like fire up where it gets progressively better over time. It's just kind of like the same effect over and over. So I would rather just run like Tinker or something here. And this is also a perk that requires you to sit there and like kind of kick gens over and over and over again to get value out of it. So that's a time investment. So I don't know. I don't know about machine learning, especially on somebody like Skull Merchant. You kind of have some weird anti-synergy. Nah, I don't know. Like I just don't think machine learning is a good perk, and I'm not gonna go too deep into it. So this is not a machine learning video, you know. But I just don't think machine learning is that great of a perk. I see what you're trying to create here with like a good chase thing, like get a bunch of haste by leaving your obsession behind, and I see that. And running chase perks on Skull Merchant does make sense because she doesn't have the best chase. So that's okay. But Play with Food in general isn't like the strongest perk. So yeah. No, if you were wanting to slug, you'd use Forced Hesitation. That's what I thought it was initially. That's why I said that, Phantom. If you're using, like, Forced Hesitation is the slug perk. This is the one where you get undetectable and haste whenever a gen completes that you've kicked, which is just not that crazy. But yeah, let's actually watch the match review. What was that? What is that drone supposed to be protecting? Usually when you put a drone over something, it's either going to be a gen, a hex totem, or like an area of super high traffic like a main building. You just gotta put a drone up where you spawned. They're not like demo portals. Like if it's like a demo portal, like that's a good idea. But like you want to put drones in areas that have super high activity. So that just try to do that with your drones. Yeah, I don't like these drones that are just kind of placed around nothing. I don't like these, personally. You should put those over objectives or places. You're kind of like putting them over loops, but you can move while placing your drones. You're like pre-placing your drones like they're like Freddy traps or like Trapper traps. Your drones aren't traps. That's not their utility. That's not what they're for. They're info and help and chase. Those are those two functions. Info and help and chase. And you're using them like traps. They're not, this isn't a trap power. So don't treat it with the same logic you would a trap power. Yeah, don't treat it like a trap power. Okay. Unfortunately, you find your obsession first, but that gets you... already gets you a, stack of play the food. Okay, you're gonna farm this up a bit. Okay. I get what you're doing. You're trying to get your 3 stacks. Now you gotta find somebody pretty quickly. Because you wasted a lot of time at the beginning, which is another reason play with your food is not like the best perk, because it requires you to waste so much time to get so much value out of it. Well, don't chase her. So you spent all that time building up play with your food stacks. So, because like what you do, like the way you play like Stabiffle play with your food together is you essentially what you did, where you like, you know, you build up stacks off your obsession, but then you leave them and just go like build Stabiffle stacks on someone while using your player food stacks to make that first chase really quick. You just go back and attack your obsession, which is anti-synergy with your Stabiffle. At least the way you're playing it. Yeah, you're kind of artificially wasting so much time in this chase to get like perk value. It's not good. So I can see a lot of gens getting done in the background because of that. This is going to be a... I know I'm talking a lot, sorry, but it's a match review. This is one of the things you'll learn about Save the Best for Last, is like going after your obsession first, unless you have something like No Way Out, where you kind of need to hook them, or Pain Res. Typically it's better to just kind of like, for the most part, avoid your obsession in general, because in a good match, in a good game of Dead by Daylight, you're focusing only 2 survivors to kind of like break apart the rest of the team. You're not trying to focus all 4 at the same time. You're focusing and pressuring 2 and forcing the rest of the team to fall apart. Now, one of your 2 people that you're putting pressure on will always be your obsession, and that means you're going to be always losing Stabiffle stacks, which is not good. Not good. Not good. Yeah, see, you're starting losing gens with all that time you spent. That's good to go back and try to break up the heal, especially since they saved probably in your terror radius. Punishing for that makes sense. Okay, you're gonna get your play with your food stack. There you go. Yeah, I was gonna say, you were gonna lose a lot of gens for all that time you just spent on Megan there. Which is not great. And you have another gen that's like halfway. So you spent 2.5 gens worth of time farming, play with your food stacks, just so you could like lose most of them and not even have Stabiffle stacks. That's probably going to be your biggest mistake that I see so far, because it's going to be really, really hard for you to come back from the amount of pressure they already have on you because of that. You're a Meg to your left. Like at this point, I know it sucks because you want to avoid your obsession to build stacks on your 2 perks. But at this point, like, you're going to lose the match. So you really should just go over there and hit her at this point. You got to cut your losses and keep pressuring the easy person. You do see Yoichi in your in one of your drones. I think you're playing right now, you're playing too much for perk value, and it's literally you're wasting so much time to get perk value. You should just hit her here. Yeah, you're wasting so much time to get perk value. You're just trying to farm perk value so much that you're not even, like, playing the game. And you're wasting so much time, and time in DBD is gen time. Match time in DBD is gen time. Rock this much of match review? Well, I mean, if you have one, like, on hand, we're still recording, so you're more than welcome to. I'm ahead on YouTube, so I don't have to, like, leave for any reason. I'm recording YouTube stuff right now, so. Yeah, it's not like when, like, you know, like we start watching and I'm like no longer accepting submissions. It's not like when I close the queue on Fridays for open lobby. Like within reason, I'll watch as many as we have. See, like, this build has a very, very good idea with, like, stacking haste from, like, forced hesitation and play with your food with Storm Merchant's base kit speed that she gets from people having claws on her. But because you haven't put your drones over anything important like gens or high areas of traffic, there's no reason for these survivors to be taking down the drones, so you're not stacking haste with anything. So, keep that in mind. Alright, well, yeah, we do this every Monday, so if you remember through the week, we can get you one for next Monday. Every Monday until, for some reason, I get tired of this. Get tired of being sent 4Ks of people going, hey, how do you help me improve? I'm like, you 4K'd, what do you want me to tell you? Want me to just nitpick your gameplay and tell you how cool you are? Like, no. Not what those are for. You quit. You stop that. Good, now you're almost at 8 stacks. See, like, you're not even, because, like, you have 3 you have 3 drones left. And you should be throwing these up mid-chase. You should be throwing these up mid-chase. And I haven't seen you doing that either. Like, you set them up like traps for areas you would suspect people to be chasing later on the match. But you're also not using them mid-chase, which is part of like, what you do. You use the drones for either chase pressure or info pressure. And you're not doing either. So, you're kind of missing the whole point of the character. There you go. There you go! Why did you not do that earlier? I like the actual palette. You're finally starting to build pressure on the rest of the team, but you spent so much time with Meg at the beginning that that's why you're in this rough spot. That's kind of why you're in a crappy situation. I wonder if Mega's figured out that you have saved. Or she just kind of like wanted to body block for fun. She probably knows you have proof, or not proof, but play with your food. Because you keep believing her. Yeah, here you go again, trying to farm up your play with your food stacks. Instead of just hitting the Michaela that was right in front of you. They're unhooking and resetting right now. Yeah, they're unhooking and resetting and healing while you farm more stacks for this perk. You may be able to guess what one of your takeaways is. See, putting the drone over the gen makes sense, because now anybody to go and do this gen— oh, it's outside the gen range too. You just barely missed it. Never mind. Never mind. Oh, you did something good there. Oops. Oops. You missed the gen, Sonny. You missed the gen. You missed the generator. Almost. So close yet so far. Hey, but he ran back into it, even though he didn't have to. Goober. Yoichi, just walk around the part that's orange. You're also not checking your radar when somebody appears. Like, if somebody appears in one of your drones, it'll show a yellow like beacon around them on their portraits. And I haven't seen you check your radar to track people at any point that has happened. So you're like, it's like you're not even like paying attention to it, or you just like don't even know. Please go after the other Meg here. Thank you. You are very fast now, which is funny. Well, she's dead, so you have somebody dead at 2 gens, which is when you need somebody dead. So I'm interested how this goes wrong for you. I mean, I can see why it probably— if you keep wasting your time trying to build a play with your fuse stacks with this Meg, you're definitely gonna lose. Because it's not that deep. It's not that good. And you not having drones over the gens is allowing them to allowing them to sneak in and do them without any of your input. You being able to stop them. Which is not good, obviously. I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to kind of like protect the gen right now, but if you really wanted to protect the gen, what you do is you put a drone over the gen. That way you know anybody's touching it. If they want to greet it, they have to get exposed. So I would take that one drone back to your right, the one you put close to it, and then reposition one over it. That way you know when somebody's on it. Yeah, here you go. Gotta have 3 stacks of player through food. I have to. I will lose the game to have 3 stacks of player through food. Yep, that doesn't surprise me. Because what were you doing there at the end, too? You were still farming play through food stacks. Instead of just, like, playing. And now Noed's gonna clean up the ending for you, yeah? This is why I tell people, if you're learning DBD and you're trying to get better, don't run Noed. Don't run Noed. Because, like, you played badly here, which is no offense to you. That's why it's a good match review match, because I can help you and I can help you improve here. But like, it's cleaning up your mistakes. Like, think of Noed as just a big old mistake eraser, and that's what it is. Because, like, realistically, you should be entering a whole, like, new, fresh chase with this Yoichi. But now he's just down in one hit, and it's going to be like your mistakes that you made throughout this match aren't mattering now. So, if you're trying to get better at DBD and you actually want to learn, like, I feel like Noed is kind of a crutch perk that reinforces mistakes instead of reinforces good habits. So I would take it off for a while until you, like, you know, learn a bit. Yeah, now you win off of that. You literally win because of Noed. You won because of that, Noed. See? Because if Yoichi doesn't go down in one hit, you have to have a full chase with him. Michaela gets the door. Meg, it's at least a 2 out. It's at least a 2 out. But now it's a 4K, specifically because of your Noed. Power struggle? So this is a done deal. Not that I necessarily need to do their builds, because I know what I'm gonna tell you. They had 3 proofs. That's pretty strong. That's not why you lost this match, but 3 proofs is pretty strong. Alright, so here are your takeaways. They're very clear cut, which is good. Which is good, because these are the things you could, you know, take away, hence why they're called takeaways, and get better at the game as a direct result. Number 1, you care way too much about perk value. The reason that you nearly lost this and had to have Noed clean it up is because you were so obsessed with keeping 3 stacks of player through food that you literally made all of your chases super long. Remember, what I say in a lot of these match reviews, chase time in DBD should be around 30 to 40 seconds to find and down somebody. 50 if you're, you know, if they happen to be a good survivor, right? If you're pushing 50 plus seconds in a chase, you should probably leave and go find somebody that's easier to chase so you can keep up your pressure. You weren't having terrible chases, but you were so obsessed with keeping up your player through food stacks that you artificially made all of your chases with the obsession meg like a minute plus over and over and over. And match time is gen time. Match time in DBD is gen time. Match time is gen time. So all those minutes that you're wasting farming your stacks, they're just doing generators in the background. And that's why you were in such a rough spot this match, is because you were so obsessed with keeping 3 player through food stacks that you essentially almost lost the entire match instead of just actually chasing people, which is kind of silly. So don't throw for perk value. What you should have done here, if you wanted to really create like a synergy between play through food and Stabiffle, is like see Meg, leave her, go get 2 stacks off of somebody using the, you know, the 1 player through food. Next time you see Meg, avoid her, maybe avoid her again, maybe get 2 stacks, and then go get 2 more stacks of Stabiffle on someone else. You know, like keep that flow going. Keep that flow going. Don't just stick on Meg only to farm up 3 stacks and then go chase people. Kind of keep a flow going with that. That would be the better way of played this. Second takeaway. The 2 things that you use Skull Merchant's drones for are for info pressure or chase pressure. So you throw it up in chase, and now the survivor has to leave the tile and force them into an awkward situation a la Knight, and then you hit them. Or you put them as info pressure, so you put them over important things like gens. So if a survivor, wants to go do the gen, they either have to get exposed or take down the drone, which obviously lets you know where they are and gives you haste from the claw. Like, that's how you use her power. That's how you use her power. You were putting drones just kind of like random places, like she was a trap killer, and that's not really how she works. Like I said, it's either info pressure or chase pressure. That's how you use your drones. You weren't really throwing drones up in chase. You weren't putting drones over gens or high traffic areas. So you're kind of like basically woman with sword arm. You really didn't have much of a power this match. So that's another reason you were having a lot of trouble there. And like I said, third takeaway, the only reason you performed well in this match is because Noed was there to clean up your mistakes. Like I said, this would have been a 2-out if not for Noed, because you hit Yoichi once, Yoichi makes a tile, you have to loop the tile, that buys Michaela time to grab the door, Meg runs to the door where Michaela's at, and those two get out. The only reason you were able to go stop them is because, Yoichi just goes down in like a half a second, and then you can just run over and stop them. So the only reason your only saving grace here, the only reason this went well for you is because of Noed. So until you get better at the game, I would get rid of the mistake eraser, which is Noed, because it's going to negatively reinforce that you're doing well when realistically you're not, and it's just like Noed kind of bailing you out last second. Don't be bailed out, just be better. Don't be bailed out, just be better. That's my advice. So yeah, I think that'll conclude that one pretty succinctly.